You're listening to the Soju Sessions, episode 69 on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. I'm your host, Crispy, also known as Crispy Wonstein or simply just Anton. And on today's show, Koro Sensei returns to the show to discuss Nayeon, her solo debut with IM NAYEON or I'm NAYEON. We do a deep dive on the album, an album discussion, a track by track journey of the story that was kind of woven with every one of the songs, her vocal performance, and kind of just what it made us feel, right? Kind of the why of it all. So just really happy to dig deep into this album. Spoilers, we loved it, but we really get into the why of it all. At the end, we also get into Koro's Dreamcatcher concert recap. Yes, concerts are back. Dreamcatcher is touring, and they have just completed their first stop in New York City. Koro was kind enough to share his experience and stories, and it was, an incredible thing to listen to. And I really encourage you all to kind of sink in and let the experience wash over you, because it's just really good to have K-pop back in the real world. Especially here in the States, especially as things are starting to open up and really feel normal again, to have our favorite groups in person, right? So all good stuff. Just a great conversation overall. So yeah, just good to have Koro back. All right, let's get into it. Coming up, my chat with Koro on IM NAYEON, an album discussion on the Soju Sessions. Joining Soju Sessions, a man who's not been on the show in quite some time, an enormous Twice fan, one who is an anime expert on the server, the one and only Koro Sensei joins the show. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello. Thank you for having me once again. It's been a minute, but I couldn't figure out an artist out there that'd probably be more deserving of the return. Not that it's anything grand, but this will be pretty fun.
The grand return of Koro Sensei. No, man, you gotta live it up. You are a legend on the server. You're very well known. So I think the audience, I think the Soju Talk Nation is excited to see that you're back. Come on, man, give yourself some credit.
We do have fun. We do have fun.
For real. So we're here to discuss IM NAYEON, her release. It came out June 23rd, 2022, so just a week ago. And as soon as the album came out, for me, it was still in the evening on the West Coast, so I had some time to kind of digest it before going to bed. And as a whole, as a complete package, I kind of loved it. I was just like, oh, this is it. I remember getting a ping from you saying, this is an Ariana Grande song. This is an Ari song. I was like, oh, okay. So we're doing this. And I just dove in, and I couldn't think of anyone else to get on the show after you had messaged me that. It's like, hey, man, I don't have a plan next week. I need a plan. I got to have you on. We got to do this. So we're doing a full album discussion, recap, review of IM NAYEON from Twice, and we're just gonna jump right into everything. So Koro, what are your initial thoughts and feelings of NAYEON solo debut, her front and center as the sole musician for music? What are your thoughts about this lovely lady?
IM NAYEON. What a start. What a start. Not just to her solo career, but to the potential solo careers of Twice members as a whole. I enjoyed the song a lot. I'll be honest, when the snippets were coming out, all you really hear was this the pop part, like in all the snippets just here and there. And in the lead up to the release, I was a bit iffy on it. Like I didn't like it or dislike it. I was just like confused about how it would be implemented in a song. because JYP is actually pretty, I guess, infamous for spoiling like the mostly the best section of the song, like before the song releases. That's kind of their thing. So the fact that this one felt more like mysterious in the lead up, which I think was definitely beneficial for the first Twice solo debut. I was very interested to see how it turned out, and one listen was all it took. I was sold. I was definitely sold, and it's not hard to be sold because Nayeon is born for this.
Yeah, I have a different experience with K-pop recently in that I'm a little bit more disconnected. I kind of just experience it as it comes. So I only heard about her solo maybe a week before it actually came out. I Sorry, crew. I kind of don't really listen to the news anymore just because I like the music discussion. I like your state of the nation. It's just when I'm doing stuff in the background, I just like sometimes I zone out. I apologize. But for me, I've kind of accepted that I want to be surprised with music releases, right? I want to kind of experience things as they come and not really build up an expectation with any of the teasers. And this is just my process. You know, everyone has their own ways of enjoying it. Power to you all. I really appreciate that you guys all post photos of stuff because I still like the visual aspect of things. But for me, seeing Nayeon kind of building up in that week and then it coming out, I didn't even know it was coming out on Thursday. I just saw the ping and I was like, I'm here for this. I want this. So I think ultimately, I think it was a great choice. I think she's, the center of Twice. She has all the character. She has a smile that will carve a place out into your heart and soul just on one look. And if there was ever a music video or a song or a concept that encapsulates that smile, the rabbit, if you will, it's kind of the song. A lot of elements of the song, I would say. Koro, what did you think about Pop, the song, the music video, the color? How do you feel like this brought out Nayeon as a soloist?
I felt like this song, I guess this slightly gets into what the crew discussed. Only a little bit, just a little tease, I guess. But I feel like this song is really showing Nayeon's color to anyone who possibly didn't know it. Like, I mean, I know that seems kind of crazy to an extent because obviously she's the center of a massive group already. But I think it's important for her solo debut and for the first solo debut of a Twice member to come out and show their color authentically instead of trying to force a different direction. There's something natural about her coming out with a song like this that really makes use of her voice in certain sections, and I agree in certain sections, maybe not as much. But I think on top of that, the song itself is catchy. It has a fun dance. I actually think I was saying this on the Discord that the dance I was worried about because Soloist is kind of like a coin toss about whether or not like the dance is going to be just like purely for TikTok or still have like some interesting choreo because like we've heard about the no horizontal movement thing with certain people. But I was saying this like immediately after release that this choreo is actually pretty intricate and has a lot of small detailed movements that are tough to replicate, and we've seen that with certain artists already who have been trying to do TikTok challenges and things like that. But on top of the song, the music video, I think even more showcases Nayeon as a whole. Like, she has such a bright personality, an infectious personality, and I think that really comes across in the million sets and outfits that they put in this video. It was just stunning, honestly.
Yeah, let's continue on with the sets and the visual component because I feel like that's where the presentation of Nayeon is the strongest for me here because I think it's both a brilliant piece of a brilliant art direction choice and kind of a confusing one in a good way, kind of, that there are so many different sets. There's so many different set pieces and different concepts. I think she fits all of them really well. And I think if I have one critique, it's that there isn't really a cohesive story. But again, this is not a song or music video that requires a cohesive story. So if you kind of just let all of that wash over and you accept the fact that she's just kind of pretty in a lot of different shots, I think it all works. Some of the shots that were just like stuck in my mind was with the villas to kind of open things up. So you have the very summery white villas. Then you have all the different kind of locations with the diner hanging from a swing as a bubble, the synchronized swimmers, I think she's in a limousine truck signing autographs, so kind of showing off that she is the idol. And then you have the stage, which I feel like captures the song the best. What did you think about all of those different images, and what was your favorite image that kind of stuck out to you throughout the music video?
Yeah, I thought the music video actually really showcased her versatility. And I think that's something that's hard to do in a group. Luckily, they've been around long enough and I've had enough comebacks and concept directions that you've been able to see that for their group as a whole. But like within a group, especially if you see like their early music videos, each person has like their set, or each person has like their thing that they're doing. That's like a very common thing, not just like the Twice thing. That's just like usually a K-pop thing. Like each individual member has their set that they stick to, and because there are so many members given in a group, that overall you'll have a bunch of sets just by nature. But the fact that her as a soloist got to have that many sets, it really showed how much she's capable of and how much she fits and why she's really so central to one of the biggest groups out there. And I thought one of the images that stuck with me strongest was actually toward the end. I think after the countdown, she like has a jacket over her shoulder and she throws it in between the I and the M of M, because it's like a play on words. It's also IM NAYEON. So the jacket like sits in between the I and the M as like an apostrophe. It's like a cool little visual thing that highlights the play on words. And then toward the very end of the song, like in the last couple of seconds, she like puts her finger in between the I and the M again, just to like highlight that. And I thought that was really strong. It's like not overdone, but it's like enough to be kind of cheeky, and I like that.
Cheeky, that's perfect. It matches not just kind of the character that she is, kind of just a very fun-loving, bright centerpiece of centerpiece doesn't sound correct, center of Twice, but also kind of leans into the artistic nature of the play on words and the symbolism of it all, right? The light symbolism. It's not the deep symbolism, but kind of the fun nature of it. For me, well, I'll go into the outfit. The one that she has a ton of outfits, so many outfits, all very summery, all very modern. She flexing the money with Louis Vuitton on a couple of the outfits, but the one that really stood out was the black and white chessboard looking thing. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. If you don't remember it, that you should probably go back and freeze frame that shot, because it's a great outfit. As far as the visual elements and the set that really stood out to me, it was the pool or just anything on the stage, right? I think the song itself kind of lends itself to be a little bit more of a Broadway show tunes type song, and I think that they utilized the stage really well. If there was one critique I had about all of the images, it's that maybe cut a few of those images and focus more on the stage, because I think as a stage performer, the song lends itself a little bit more to that. And I think she would have just done just as well, with that being kind of the center point of the story of the music video, the loose story of the music video. Let's get into the song. So, it's brassy. It's got a bounce to it. To me, I think it's pretty easy to digest. But the crew had some things to say about kind of the dynamics of the song and the fact that it was short. What did you think about some of the critiques the crew had? And did that kind of align with you in any way?
Yeah, with regard to the pacing and the length, I do agree. It was very quickly paced, but with regards to the length, though, I actually didn't really notice how short it was until they pointed it out, like how short some sections were and how they kind of just like cut them off and like let's go to the next one, go to the next one. But I didn't mind be as much as the crew did, probably because I feel like with a solo song and especially a solo debut for someone who's been in a group so long, I feel like in a group song it's important to give a dedicated amount of time to each section. Obviously, there's some variation here and there, but for each member to have their ability to shine and just do time on the on the track, you want to give everyone a decent amount of time. I feel like with this track with one person, especially for a K-pop audience, it's kind of hard to consistently give them the same voice. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for Nayeon or any other soloist. I think that's where like it comes in where you have to like just write differently versus just cut off sections. But I think for the pace of this song, it works because if those sections were any longer, I think then it ends up feeling too dragged out. Versus, I think right now it's like a solid length.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. The crew gave really great details to let me think a little bit deeper about the song than I did initially. Because I do want to go back to say that this song is really easy to digest and that it's a summer fun song that I can just play all day and just really sit with it. But if we're kind of looking a little bit deeper into the construction of the song and how does it accentuate Nayeon as a soloist, the thing that I agreed with the most is the um kind of the way that they played with her tone or kind of a lack in the way that they played with her tone in that there is the chorus where Warren does say that there's two parts of the chorus where one of it is very much like her character and her singing really well. I think it's right before the pop pop part, and then you have the other part where it kind of blends into the rest of the song. I think for me that's where it holds it up from being a completely like, oh my god, this is like Nayeon's song, right? And I think I have that reference point only because, and we're going to talk about these songs later, there are other songs on the album that I feel like really capture not only her character but her singing tone and her voice, and I feel like that is like who Nayeon is. But I think for the purposes of this song, the speed of the song, thank you Warren for breaking it down 97 beats per minute. But then with the percussion and the drum loop going up a little bit faster. So if you want to like technically think about the song and reconcile those two things, it's a lot faster, but she herself is not singing at that beat, right? At that pace. So I think on an energy level, this is like a K-pop at its finest, right? It's like, here you go. You want some high sugar candy, chew on this and enjoy summertime. This is it. But I think, I don't know. I think again, I think those parts of the song that lack for me only lack because I know I have a different reference point with regard to the other songs. But yeah, that's probably the only thing that really falls short for me. Otherwise, this is to me very good signature song of like, hey, this is Nayeon. And then we'll kind of see how the rest of Twice evolve as far as their solos go. Was there anything else you wanted to say as far as the song and kind of what really worked for you with the song?
Yeah. Before that, I just wanted to speak really quickly on that point you made and like what the crew said about her voice and her tone with regards to this song, and like potentially, I think maybe it was Anita saying she's not sure how this like differentiates Nayeon, even though it is her debut. So it's like there's only so much you can that's probably do there. But I feel like I thought about it a lot, and I think and more Warren mentioned it too with like her being the linchpin of the Twice sound, is that it's so hard to isolate Nayeon from the traditional, at least, Twice sound, because the traditional Twice sound begins with Nayeon, and not, I don't mean just like literally the song begins with her, which it usually did, or it still does, but like literally those songs feel like they're built around her voice tone to begin with, and like all the other, they write with that in mind. All the other members are singing kind of to cater to that sound, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I feel like with a solo release for her specifically, because I think it's like the best choice to start with, not only because she's the oldest, so that's probably going to happen no matter what, but center, face of the group, whatever they call it. And also, like, she's the easiest transition into a solo for a Twice member. But also, at the same time, some people might feel like this isn't different enough from a Twice song itself. And you said, like, it would be curious to see where other Twice members go with it. And I'm guessing, at least, I'll bet like maybe 25 cents, 50 cents, that Jihyo will be next. And I think there you open up possibilities because Nayeon's opened this door for solos. There you open up possibilities for her to show something a little different. So I'm excited to see where that goes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in with Jihyo. I've had this thought since the solo debut. I'm jumping ahead. I'm so sorry, everyone. I think what suits her best, one is a vocal presence, a very strong vocal presence in the song, but also throw her into the Roaring 20s. Give her that. Give her that retro sound, and I think she can kill it. Yeah, I was gonna save that till the end, but I could not help it because I just had that thought all week. It's like, oh, my Jihyo's next. I need that. I need that in my life. But yeah, going back to your point about Nayeon being the face of the group, not just vocally, not just visually, but vocally. What they said on the show was her being the tone setter. So I think that definitely plays into. I don't want to call it restrictions, but kind of the structure of this song, right? Because it's just her, so she's gonna have a specific tone throughout the song, and because the song is so fast, and then the song is so similar, I guess, throughout, you have to really be creative with how you push and pull with the dynamics of her voice and find spots to really show her character. And I think they did that well enough in the chorus, but they could have done it more, I think, is another way to put it. Yeah, but overall, I think it's a fun song. I think it's a really audience capturing song. And again, K-pop is everything, right? It's the visual component, it's the music video, it's the promotions and the character and all the photo shoots. So awesome. So yeah, I think she captures all of that. Any last things you want to say about Pop?
I just thought it was funny that they said, it never even crossed my mind, but they said that the rap kind of section it could have been Momo doing that part. It never even crossed my mind, but once they said it, like, now I can't unhear it when I listen to the song, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I can't unhear that either anymore. It's like, because again, like, I'm listening to the song while I'm doing stuff, while I'm like either doing work or like taking a walk. So the rap isn't so I don't know, it doesn't enter into the song so abruptly where I'm just like, I gotta focus and pay attention to it now. But now that they said it's Momo, it's like, yeah, I know it's not Momo, but I can only think of Momo when that part comes up. So thanks Warren, thanks Anita, you guys are great. All right, let's move into a song with a rapper on it, a JYP rapper. We've got No Problem featuring Felix from Stray Kids. All right, Koro, start us off, sir. What did you think about this being track number 2 on Nayeon's debut?
I thought this was a great way to continue the album, because I feel like this is where you start to see more of Nayeon's strengths as a singer in general, but then obviously applying that as a soloist. Their voice like really suits this instrumental. Well, first of all, I should say I really enjoyed this instrumental. Like, this instrumental is very fun. I think especially during the chorus, when you can hear it's like way more isolated. I'm not great with the musical terminology, but you can hear elements of it way more clearly in the chorus. It's like more stripped down, and it's way more, I think, just a little more punchy, more fun. And obviously, as it continues, I'm sure we'll get onto it, but then you get a feature from Felix from the same company, who's also a noted Twice fan. So I'm sure he was buzzing to get this official collab under his belt. I thought it was a great for them to work together, and I think it turned out well.
Yeah, let's jump into that the chorus section that you were talking about. So I have the note that it's got some minimalist feel to it, where they kind of give you a little bit of the instrumental and they pull it back. All of this kind of wrapped in like the synthy bass, 80s it's a keytar. I'm convinced. You cannot tell me otherwise. This is a keytar. Someone is in the studio just playing along like this. It's city pop. To me, this is city pop, right? I mean, I freaking love it. This is the vibe that I'm always down for, regardless of who does it, because I feel like not to say that it's easy to do, but there's a capturing of a moment with city pop, right? I probably love like almost every city pop song. I don't think there's a city pop song where I can like refuse. So the fact that she's doing this, she's giving it some character, and then like you said, Felix gives it a nice contrast where he's got that nice spot where just like it breaks up the song from just being an easy listening city pop song, right? Mm-hmm. I do want to shout out the creative team behind this. I didn't write it down. I'm so sorry, but thank you for some Daft Punk voice modulation. What is happening? It's like it comes halfway through the song, and I'm just like, oh, I see what they're doing. I see, and then they give you more of it as the song progresses and finishes out, right? So, man, this is I think this is very much a surprising song considering how high energy that first song was. But again, this is a an album construction note, right, where you start with a bang. And then you find a song or a genre that kind of fits into something popular, but perhaps shifts the tone, in a way where you're kind of accentuating elements of Nayeon or the soloist that you want to showcase, right? Especially with the solo debut. So I feel like this song does that just well enough without bringing you too far down like the calm, relaxed road of just like, I want to do nothing. It's like, no, you have my attention. It's like, I'm here for it. So let's go into Felix. What did you think about Felix's spot in this song?
The very beginning of it, he like gives off. I also mentioned this in the Discord. He gives off like this grunt at the start of his verse, and it's not like most rappers. They would give like a slight little grunt at the beginning of their verses before that. They're coming in. It's like a rapper thing. It's not usually super guttural, but Felix is very like from the stomach. Maybe like overdid it a bit in the studio, and they was like, "Oh, we're just keeping that one in." I thought that was funny, but I thought it was a serviceable verse. Like I didn't think it was anything crazy. I also didn't think the song needed anything crazy. I think it suited the song. We already had 2 verses from Nayeon, so it was like it wasn't like most collabs where you see like the person come in on the second verse. It was like later in the song, just enough to switch it up to carry us through to the ending of the song, so it wasn't just one note most of the way. So I think he did his job well.
Yeah, it's definitely a feature, right? It's definitely just a drop in. Let me do a verse. Let me give some Felix character. I think it almost got to the point of a little too much Felix character, but because it was short, it was like, all right, good. Just like, good. Let's keep this in the Nayeon lane, right? I agree with everything you said. I think it's a nice inclusion to kind of break up the song, but like I said, it's bordering on this is a little too aggressive. Felix, yes, pull it back just a little bit. But overall, good spot. Not the most amazing like rap feature, but it's not supposed to be, right? Because it is just a spot kind of in the last third of the song. Let's move on now to the next song, track number 3, with Love Countdown featuring Wonstein. This is the song that I got pinged on. Should I start?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Do your thing.
All right.
I pinged you for a reason.
This is my favorite song on the album. You know me well. Thank you, Koro. I appreciate you. This is an Ari joint. 100%. It pulls into the Lovebird R&B with a little bit of pop, like a sprinkling of pop with the bedroom trap sounds, the very distinctive bedroom trap sounds, all blended with her voice. That now you get like the full Nayeon picture of like, oh yeah, this is the vibe. This is how she's going to draw you in. She's going to make you fall in love. And then very much a contrast now from track number 1, right? And I think that's the cool part of it as far as the progression into the album, because now you're moving into what I think is kind of her genre. Again, title track, great, pop friendly, general audience friendly. But in my deepest recesses of my soul, I wish he just put out an R&B album with all songs like this, because that's what hits me. But that's just selfishly me, right? I don't know if that would sell, but I would buy all of them. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know, man. But yeah, this one gets me. I'm gonna stop myself. I have much more, but sir Koro, what did you think about this one? And how do you feel like she captures the trap lovebird R&B of Ariana Grande here?
I'm glad you're gushing like this, because this is the exact reaction I was anticipating when I pinged you. I heard it, because the album was like creeping up. It was like pop. I was like, all right, this is a good track. Love Countdown. I was like, oh, I think I might like this one a little more. And then we hit this one, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is the one. This is the one from this album. It will stick with me for a very long time. Let's just put it that way. Like, this is joining. Especially early Ariana, this is joining. Especially the reason why I pinged you is because the last time we spoke about music to this extent was the Stacy album from this year. We also see songs that could fit into the same general wheelhouse of R&B. So I thought this was very appropriate for us to come back together on. And I just think Nayeon's voice on this song, it's like the perfect tone. The perfect tone, like for her, for this genre. I think she does like the general pop super well. Obviously, that's like her career is built on that. But I think this is where you get to see her true capabilities shine, because I think there's a certain what's like sincerity to her voice. That's what it is. There's a certain sincerity to her voice, and I think that comes through in her personality in general. And the fact that she also wrote this song feels like it feels like the most Nayeon to me on this album. So I thought she did a great job, and you can talk about the feature too, because I know you probably have a lot to say about that.
She sings it high with so much control, and it matches Wonstein's tone so well. So for him, he has an airiness to the way he sings and kind of raps that just matches the emotional longing of what the song is representing, right? It's a lot of push and pull between the two of them. His first section, I thought that was his only section when I first listened to it. I was like, all right, cool, you got your feature, he's in. And I was thinking, okay, the song's going to wrap up soon. But then it keeps going. And then they do a back and forth where now Nayeon's singing, and then you hear him in the back of that. So they're overlapping, they're coming together. It's like, what is happening? And then Wonstein has another part near the end, kind of just a surprise. And then that gears up the tempo, right? It picks it up. It's just like, to quote Warren again, the dynamism, the dynamics of the song. It's like, it shifts from this very like mellow R&B, lovebird R&B. It's very much the same at the end in the genre, but there's an uppityness to it. I don't know how else to put that. There's just a little bit more energy it picks up, and I feel like that's very much kind of a parallel to like falling in love, where you fall in love, you tell the person how you feel, and then you find out, they feel the same, and then all the feelings start to come out, and you just kind of rush into whatever next is up for the two of you. I'm projecting. I am so sorry, but I feel like for him, Wonstein specifically, he does an excellent job of these types of features, right? I think my all-time favorite feature of his is the one with Lehigh. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Same type of emotion and feeling, right? Where it's a little bit of playfulness. It's a lot of fun, but it really makes you feel, like you said, sincere about kind of the connection, the relationship two people can have with each other, right? So it's like, man, just killing it with like matching with female vocalists. I don't know, man. I'm just, yeah. Where do I go from here? I don't know. Koro, help me out.
I got you.
What do you think about the feature of Wonstein?
Yeah, I'm not, like, coming into this, I wasn't super familiar with it. I'm still not. So I didn't really know what to expect. But this has nothing to do with like what I thought about it. But just like I heard his voice, I was like, I think I've heard him somewhere. And then you brought up that Lehigh song. I was like, I do have that on my playlist. I've definitely heard him, and that's a great song. I'm definitely gonna check out more stuff from him after this. But um, I hate to. I don't want to make it sound like I'm dogging on Felix. He did what he had to do, and he did a good job. But you said it like when you said he was definitely a feature on that song. Wonstein comes in on this song, and it feels like a collab versus just like he's featuring. Like he feels like he's in the fiber of the song more than he's just like placed on top of the song. Like the song doesn't work without him, and the song obviously doesn't work without Nayeon. Like it's just like a perfect meeting of their worlds. I don't even know him well enough to say like how accurate that is, but that's how convincing he was in his delivery and his. And then the second time he comes back in, and then obviously his ad libs over the top of the later chorus. It's just everything worked together so well for this to be a song that just have on loop. And I think obviously they're not exactly the same kind of artists, at least from what I've heard. So I obviously I don't know enough about him, but it felt like as genuine as like an early Ariana Mac Miller combination from like their early days. Rest in peace, Mac. But early days for their chemistry on song, you could definitely feel that. So I was glad to hear it, and I definitely want to hear more from him.
Yeah, man. It tells a story in a very subtle way where you don't have to pay attention to the song completely, but you get it. At least I did. Like there are times where I'm just like I have the song in the background, but I know the ebbs and flows and the moments of the song, almost like a movie, you know, kind of just the way that the story plays out. And I think a lot of that is with the song structure, like you said, where it starts with her, and then he comes in almost like two separate people, and then they come together at the end. Beautiful, beautiful ending, and it's yeah, man, this song does it for me. I don't want to say like so big grand things about this song in the sense that it's like my favorite B-side of the year, but it's pretty close. Like man, like
definitely up there,
right? Like if I had to make a list of my favorite B-sides, I think like 90% of them would be R&B songs, and then it would be like this in the top like 10%. So man, it's good. It's if you want Nayeon's character as an older mature K-pop musician mixed in with a little bit of R&B and hip hop, this is it. This is where you go. All right, we gotta move on, unfortunately. So, the next track, I love it. I love it too. I feel like right here in the middle of the album, it kind of picks up. There's some stuff that's going on that's now different enough from the title track. So we have Candy Floss. Man, there's some stuff here. So I started the last one. I'm gonna throw it to you. What did you think about Candy Floss?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, okay. I'll just go. I had mentioned to you when we said we were doing this. There's a song that I was a bit iffy on the album, at least first listen, and I don't think it's like bad or anything, and I've come around on it for sure. But for an album that I have very high praise for, you'll see toward the end of this, I was like, well, maybe this is the one bump in the road. But I think by now it's been some time. I do enjoy it quite a bit, but I think my hesitations came from I felt like there's a lot of empty space in the song, but between a lot of the phrases, and maybe that's because it feels like the song has like a marching kind of rhythm. That maybe that's just where that comes from. But I felt like we could be doing more here. But I think the chorus is catchy enough and does enough with her like voice falsetto wise for me to be invested. But I think I'm a bit harsh on it because it falls in between my spoiler two favorite songs on the album. So I'm a bit harsh. But what do you think?
Yeah, man, no problem. I the space in the song, I definitely noticed that too on a first listen and repeat listens. But like you said, I think it does grow on you, and I think that there's a bit of a purpose, right, where they kind of use that empty space to kind of fill in with other elements of the song to shift the gears a little bit, because it does start off like fairly minimal. You don't really know what genre or what direction the song is going to, at least me personally. But I kind of landed on this very 80s video game. A lot of video game sounds, whether that was the retro Space Invaders pew pew pews or kind of the I don't know, the different effects, kind of the saxophone that was incorporated in a lot of ways. I think it's a saxophone. So I think on that end, instrumentally, I think they do some really cool, interesting things that is not in the album, right? This is like the first song that does that here. So I like that about this song a lot as well. This song didn't have that strong of a feeling, as strong of a feeling for me as it did you. Let's put it that way. Like I really liked it. I noticed the song, and I think the elements of the song made it fun, and playful for me enough where it's like, all right, cool. It's another song. It's like it's a stopgap song to get between like the genre that she's kind of pulling through, the thread that she's pulling through throughout the song. So I think overall it's a pretty cool song. Like I said, well, I didn't say this, Ed, but I wrote this down. I think there's a world, there's a universe where this song is a title track. There's parts of it that I can see if it was reworked, where it's like, oh yeah, the chorus just needs like a little bit of punch, right? They need that hook, that killing part, the killing part in the chorus for the song, right? But I think because it's a B-side, it's kind of intentionally supposed to be a little bit less punchy than the title track. So I think that's where I land on it. But I think it does feel like it could head in that direction as far as the way it's composed. Any other thoughts you have on CANDYFLOSS?
To the song's credit, for sure. Sorry, I was lagging a bit, so I might have cut you off there. But to the song's credit, I think it perfectly serves its role in the pacing of the album and its position in the album. I think with albums, and especially mini albums, I don't know, I gotta think about that more, but I think impressions are super important, especially when you're talking beginnings of albums and ends of albums. And I think that's where a lot of groups and artists in general find struggles in the middle of the album. I think this song does enough as like the direct middle song to keep you going into the back half of the album. So I think it does its job well. Nice.
That's a great way to put it, right? It's the midpoint. It's the check-in. It's like, hey, you're still here. We're all still here. We're gonna keep this party going. All right. Let's move on now to the next song, All or Nothing. It's a very dramatic title, but I think I love the song in general. This is you spoiled it, so this is your other favorite song. Go into it. Why do you love this song? Why is this your second favorite song on the album?
Yeah, well, let me make clearer. Love Countdown is clear number one. That's just, we're all on the same page there. I know it is for you as well. But All or Nothing, and I don't know, I had said this before, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but I feel like this song, in conjunction with Love Countdown, feels like the most like Nayeon we haven't necessarily heard a lot of before. And this happens to be the only other song on the album that she wrote, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like there's like a lot of authenticity that comes through in her singing of those two songs, especially, and obviously with this one, which is a lot slower, a lot more personal, it feels. And I don't like, it's a type of song that I tend to like in general, but it only works if the vocalist works. And I think the vocalist does work here. And I think it also does a great job in the album of having, because I feel like the album gives you a bit of everything. Like we talked about this, I think at some point before, both like K-pop albums being less cohesive and more like a playlist. Kind of for like Warren's leading that discussion one way or the other. But I think this album both has playlist vibes where it's like there's a lot of different stuff happening, but it also comes through as a cohesive album with the pacing and the positioning, the track ordering of these songs. So I think they actually did a great job on both fronts there to please album purists and the general K-pop fans.
Yeah, it's a great balance, I'd say. I mean, it's twice, so they're very general audience, public public friendly. So you do want an album that isn't so overly like this intellectual taxing endeavor, right? For music heads like you and I who just want all of the meaning behind the structure of an album. So there has to be a little bit of fun and lightness to it, and I think it does capture that. But I mean, like you said, there's some subtlety in the way that the songs are placed, where it makes a lot of sense, both sonically and kind of thematically with how the songs, what the songs are saying, right? So All or Nothing. The first thing that really like stood out to me, she sings. My God. I don't. No, well, there's two songs in this album that really showcase her singing. Like, I think if you were to point someone into that direction of who doesn't know what Nayeon sounds like as a singer, or just like needs an example, it's All or Nothing and Sunset. But there's just something in this song where I think, like you said, there's almost a bookend feeling to it, right? Or you have Love Countdown, CANDYFLOSS, All or Nothing, but then you have those two songs bookending kind of this emotion, this feeling. Again, it's a very pop R&B song, but in a very different way. I think it removes some of the trap elements from Love Countdown and really just like eases you into a much more chill emotional state. The thing that was super impressive that I think is unique, but probably one of my favorite things about this entire album is the way that she sings this chorus. She does this thing where she's singing, she's rapping, almost narrating, and at the end of her breath, she's like catching her breath and moving on to the next line. It's almost like she's trying to like chase after her next word, but it doesn't feel like she doesn't feel pressed, right? But she's almost like there's a breathiness to it, but it's giving you a sense of urgency. And I'm just like, wow. One, like amazing that the team or her herself decided on that. But two, it's like, I wonder what that sounds like. Like sounds like live, but I think she could also do it, right? So it's like, oh dang, it's like that is impressive. So I think as far as a risk and kind of a musical flex, that's a musical flex that's subtle. I don't know if like I can't recognize that anywhere else. Let's put it that way. Like I haven't been able to pinpoint that specific stylistic choice in singing in any other song in recent memory. I don't know if that's like confirmation bias or anything, but I mean that was just so unique to me. I was like, "Damn, girl, kill it!" And then it does complement the theme of the song, right? Like All or Nothing, kind of being in a relationship, just deciding, right, if you are going to dedicate yourself to this person that you clearly have an inflection point, a point of conflict with, or that's it, you're done, it's over, which is a very big moment in someone's life, in a relationship's life cycle, right? So I think all of that's very much paired into the how she sings the song, right? And it's just like, oh, that's good. Like, there's some stuff in here. I somehow get into like this emotional projection of like relationships and romance, so I apologize.
That's great.
Help me out of here. So close us out. What are your final thoughts about this song specifically, and how the song plays into the structure of the album, but also kind of plays into getting a peek into Nayeon's psyche, her emotions, kind of how she feels about the world. She did write it. What's your interpretation of just how this is a reflection of who she is?
Yeah. Well, first, I think it's great that you have these emotional projections, because I think that's one of the powerful things about music, and about good music especially. And I think that points to the strength of this album and Nayeon as a soloist, as we've seen, that she's able to pull this out of people, and especially in the two songs that she happened to write. So I feel like this song, I'm sorry, I forgot the second half of the question. Oh yeah, how this her writing the song fits with her as a human. I feel like, well, one, this song is the song that feels most like on the album that it couldn't be done as a group. And I think that's interesting. It's up there with some of the other ones, but I feel like this song, it needed to be her all the way through, both sonically and because obviously it's fitting her as a person. I feel like Nayeon, I'm not, obviously I don't know her, but like from what she projects as an idol, is someone that will give her all to things. And obviously, this song she's talking about like in a relationship sense, but to be able to be where she is, give her all in life. And I feel like this song is just like a version of that, we're talking about love or just general love, which is obviously what most songs tend to be about. But I think it just fits in general with her, and it's bearing fruit obviously in her career for where she is. So either you're gonna go all the way, and in most relationships they say it was like a saying like you can't be 50-50, it's 100-100. And I think with her and being the best idol she can be, it's 100-100, like definitely. So I think it's showing itself.
That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. All right. Yeah, I have nothing else to add to that. That was an excellent closeout to that great, incredible song. All or Nothing. Great song, guys. All right, let's move on now to the penultimate song, the second to the last song on the album, Happy Birthday to You. All right, I'll start. This is cheese at its finest as far as the title, the lyrics, the concept of the song. I first wrote down like, oh, perhaps this is a fan song, but it's still, there's a little bit of a what's the word? Closeness to the song, right? It feels like it's a little intimate still. You're saying happy birthday to you specifically. And you know, if you took that out of it and you listen to the song, you're like, oh, this is just a really cool poppy R&B song. Again, matching so many of the other songs on this album. So I think there's two parts of my brain for this song. There's the music side where I'm just listening to it, the sonic side where, yeah, fits in the themes, fits in the threads of everything that I've been listening to. And then there's the jokiness of happy birthday to you. Almost a disconnect with it all. I think it's fun. I think it's a interesting choice to put near the end of the album, but I don't know. Ultimately, the song sounds great, so I'm good with it. But man, this song is making me think in a lot of different directions. What did you think about Happy Birthday to You?
Yeah, this one's funny. Because I was feeling similarly, I guess, when I saw the title. I was like, I don't know like where this is gonna go. This is like a tough title to to take seriously. Like for like a song that's not just like a rendition of the traditional "Happy Birthday to You" or "Happy Birthday" song or whatever. So when I heard it, it's like sonically, it's so far left field from what I would have expected given the title, that it was like surprisingly great in that aspect. And maybe that's a clever way to title a song to catch me off guard and have me thinking of it more highly than I would have. I think the chorus especially is like the best version of elevator music you can make. And it's, I don't know if most people would have thought of it this way, but once you go back and listen to it, you can definitely feel the elevator rise. Oh, that and Red Velvet's LP, I think. If anyone's heard that, I think that's also a pretty good elevator song. But this song, or like Nintendo Wii music, it's like one of the two, but it has like certain dun, 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 like parts of the instrumental that feel like it could also fit Wii music generally. I don't have much to say about it, honestly, other than what I already said. I just think it was a solid like album song and a surprisingly good song, and I think it works well to keep the energy like descending as we go into the final song of the album. Like it doesn't all of a sudden pick back up to like an unrealistic height. It's like it's surprising for its title, but it's also it fits where the album's going.
Yeah, I think it's about separating what the title says and then just listening to the song. Because I agree, I think it matches the tone of the album really well. It's a great lead up to the last song, both instrumentally and also with her singing. I feel like she really sets you up to get into Sunset, right? She's in her bag here. She's got a lot of control, but when you get to Sunset, you know she's holding back a little bit extra, right? There's more to it, right? So I think overall, again, conflict, I guess, like internal conflict, trying to like piece the song together. But overall, just a good song. I think really good song if you can separate the title and the message of the song, which is kind of weird, right? All right, let's get into the last song, the final song on the album. We've got Sunset. This is a loungy song. Koro, what'd you think? What did you think about the emotion that this song pulled out of you? Pulled out from Nayeon's voice, her presence, her being. What'd you think about Sunset?
Yeah, Sunset is tough because I feel like with songs like this, I always have the least amount to say because this is like a typical album ending song. That isn't like that's not like a negative or a positive thing. It's just like it makes sense. So it's not like surprising in any way. But I think with this song, and you mentioned before with All or Nothing, if anyone was doubting Nayeon's vocal ability coming into this album, she really let people know that she is capable, like very capable. Because I know there's some discussion there. I will get into that, but I've always believed in her ability, and she is flexing in this album. I think in ways people might not have expected from Twice songs. Well, you hear it in B-sides sometimes too, but anyway, this song, I think really you can feel like a calming nature to it. I remember shout out Ben who's active in the Twice channel was trying to go to bed after this album released. And he's obviously way too excited. Noted Nayeon stan Ben. But I was like, hey, just throw on Sunset and vibe out until you knock out, because this song is just like it's right there with you to coast. That was a weird ending to the phrase, but sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's you captured it well. I think you vibe out to it, and I think it's all captured really well. One, with the title of the song and the themes. Two, in the fact that she's really able to flex vocally. Right, it's the majority of the song just rests on her as a singer, which is incredible. And I didn't mention this in the Wonstein song, Love Countdown, but there is a good amount of English in this album. I think even in the Felix song, right? It's like, it feels like it's almost all English. The chorus here it starts off in English. So it really just like sets you up if you're not a fluent Korean speaker or understander. That's not a word, but you hear it, right? So in my dream, I just gave you my star. I feel silly when you look into your eyes, right? So it's a little cheesy, it's a little corny, but the way she sings it, and the fact that she's setting you up with this idea of the sunset, which is the end of the day. A lot of metaphors of just things coming to an end, being this album, but also remembering the moments that led up to this point, right? How everything is a beautiful moment, and that even though you're going into the night, you're no longer able to see the brightness of the day, but the beauty beneath, the beauty within, the beauty that is Nayeon still exists. And I feel like all of that's very much captured with the lyric writing here in this song. I did read the translations. I try to do that just to kind of get a sense of the song, even though I know it's not a perfect translation sometimes. But I feel like it very much encapsulates a lot of feelings of love and romance, right? And, you know, they mentioned on the show that as Twice transitions into kind of this mature aspect of their life, I mean, they are in their mid-20s now. Nayeon's over 25, right? She's, in K-pop terms, she's not young, right?
Yeah, she was born in 95. Yes, yeah.
Oh, here, yeah, geez. So it's one of those where it's like you do want to see them kind of progress and evolve as far as how they feel about the world and love and romance. And I feel like you can go from high teen, which is so popular now, and just like puppy love, and then you go into your early 20s where you're just like confused, you're just always in conflict, and then you're in your mid 20s going into your 30s thinking like, yeah, I need to like chill out, I need to just like be content, but also be appreciative of the moments, right? Because everyone's gonna have up and downs with regards to relationships, and I feel like you know, she does that well here as far as the messaging. Yeah, I'm going through something this summer where I'm just like feeling all kinds of ways. And Nayeon definitely has me feeling that kind of way. Yeah, again, I love this album. I can listen to it. I have been listening to it, and I feel like she does weave a great story with the album. Koro, well, what are your closing thoughts on this song, on Sunset? How it's kind of the sunset to her story here.
Yeah, I think, well, one, let Nayeon accompany you this summer with all these feelings. Let these songs. She has a soundtrack to your life. Maybe there's something for all parts of the day, all feelings of the week, all themes of the month. Nayeon is there for you, so just let it happen. But yeah, I think this is a great wrap up to the album. Because if you think about it, I didn't even think about this till literally 5 seconds ago. As we're transitioning through this album, this feels like a natural place to arrive at, given everything that's come before. But if you really look at it, comparing this song to Pop, beginning of the album, it's like night and day. It's sunset to sun. Well, no, that's not sunrise. Pop is like literally like midday, afternoon, sun, top, and then sky. But it's like they couldn't be more different in energy and feeling and everything. But the fact that this album went from pop to sunset and it felt supernatural as we got there, I think really shows the strength of this album, and it's why this album is a definite album of the year contender for me. So we'll be curious to see how that continues.
Yeah, no, I feel very similarly in a lot of ways. I mean, I can kind of like go into my process. I really like talking about music. I like talking about music that moves me. I like talking about full stories with regards to just how albums are constructed or are composed, right? So for me, I'm very selective. And the fact that like Nayeon's album, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't think this entire album was going to come out this way. I didn't think from start to finish I was going to have a complete story. I thought I was going to have, not to say that Twice albums don't do this, but they don't do it to this degree. Like I don't know, there isn't like a central focal point that I can point to, like, okay, this is what they were trying to accomplish in the same way that Nayeon's album accomplished it, right? Maybe I just need to go back into Twice albums, but for me, Twice they have a ton of songs. I like them all, but I can't really pick and choose like an album to listen to. It's like, oh, this album has like 5 bangers, and then this album has another 3.
Special,
right? Yeah,
special,
and like three or 4 bangers over here. And it's like I'm gonna put these songs together and make my own playlist, right? And it's like this is Twice. This is Twice either from 2017 to 2019 or 20 to 22, and like the eras where it's like this. It's like, oh no, IM NAYEON, this album captures this moment in time for her. So that's why I'm just like, oh, I gotta talk about this because I love the progression of the songs, like you said. You know, it drops you right into the middle of summertime, but I mean, we're here end of June, midsummer. Not the movie, but you know that's what pop is. It drops you into all of the summer warm feelings, the brightness, the sunshine, and then eventually you do have to get to the end of the day, end of summertime, kind of the sunset. So yeah, no, just a really well constructed, well balanced album as a whole. So yeah, Warren, put this on your playlist, check it out. I know you're doing a whole listen through, so yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, Warren. All right, Koro, let's move into some closing thoughts. So it's been a minute since we chatted about music, chatted in general. How's life? How's your summer going?
It's been all right so far. Successfully graduated from college, so done with that. Chapter's done, finally. And I mentioned to you before we started recording, but I'm a bit all over the place right now because I recently, very, very recently, got a new puppy. So that's like consuming my entire life right now. But I'm glad, more happy for it. So I'm having an all right summer so far. How about you, Crispy?
Nice, man. Congratulations. I think belated congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't think I even said that to you back when you
I didn't mention it then, so yeah.
Well, there you go. Breaking news for everyone. Koro is done with college and now is going off into life, whatever life is
Scary
right now.
world.
Ooh, man, it's a time. We're gonna stay optimistic. We're gonna stay positive. So for me, very busy. My internet cut out Monday. There was construction, and they ripped out the cable from the ground, and I didn't have internet, so I wasn't able to work for half of the day on Monday, and then I had to go into the office the rest of the week. You know, not bad, like having to leave your house. So maybe it was a good thing that I eventually had to like leave my house and do stuff instead of just staying home. But I think catching up the past 2 days was stressful, but now I'm all caught up, so I'm feeling pretty good. Big picture, summertime. This feels like the least planned I've ever had summer. Not in the sense of like the pandemic summers were just like you couldn't do anything, so it felt very restrictive. Where now it's like, yeah, you can do something. Everyone's going out and traveling. I don't have plans, but I also feel like I'm the most free I've ever been. Where it's like I can just like up and go wherever, whenever, like on a Saturday morning, right? And I've been kind of doing that. I have a trip in a few weeks to go to Tahoe with some friends, but again, it's not like a big trip. It's just like 2 nights, and we're just chilling, barbecue, and stand by the lake, I think is the plan. And then there are a bunch of concerts and shows that I was fortunate enough to get tickets to. Yeah. I didn't get any of the big shows, so no aespa that just happened this past week. I will not be going to Head in the Clouds, but I did get KCON. I think that I think that's what I'm looking forward to most. Yeah, it's kind of a lot, I'd say, because I had to get 2 separate single day tickets instead of like the bundle where it's a little cheaper. But it worked out, and I get to see everyone. So I get to see Cosmic Girls. I get to see Luna, and who else am I missing? Kepler, Lightsum, ITZY, NMIX, all the girl groups, man. That's it. But kind of on a smaller scale, I'm kind of looking forward to like these smaller shows. So there's this one kind of like small music festival with Japanese Breakfast. So she's performing in the Bay Area in August. So I think that's the one I'm like super looking forward to, because I don't know if many people know about that show. Yeah, because it's part of another like women only like music festival, like women performers, all like indie artists. Cool. So yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, that's my summer. I feel like I'm the least pressed I've been in years. So I think a lot of that has to do with the pandemic, but also now I'm like free to not be pressed, right? So all good stuff.
All right. So actually, speaking of, I know you're about to wrap up. Sorry. Yeah. Speaking of concerts, I'd have to mention this. I went to DC's New York show. Well, DC, sorry, Dreamcatcher, just in case you aren't initiated. I know you are, but most others. Dreamcatcher's show on the 28th, which was yesterday as of recording, and I still haven't recovered. Probably will never recover, but they are just as great as you might think they are live. So, and Shion's vocals are real. I'll just give you that much. They are the real deal. So all of them, of course, they're all amazing. But she's like the belter. So you got to hear that power. The mic couldn't handle it. Let's just put it that way. But great stuff.
I completely forgot, and this is why we couldn't record on Tuesday, but also a good reason why we couldn't record on Tuesday. I didn't have internet. So, all right, my life has been all over the place. I gotta ask. We gotta do a mini show review. All right, so tell me about the show.
Oh, okay.
What time did it start, and how early? What time did it start? Was it assigned seating? And then how early did you get there before they let you in?
Okay, 7:30 start time. Doors opened at 6. Thanks to the Ticketmaster wizard Shinboy, who actually secured my ticket for me. So I had a seat in the mezzanine, I think it's called. So I was able to show up like whenever I wanted and just got to chill. I just had to wait on the line, obviously, but it was like pretty chill. Like I wasn't jostling for a spot in GA with most other people. But yeah, it was hectic. GA was definitely hectic and secret. Actually, I got tipped off by Shinboy. I was able to slowly make my way into GA toward the end of the show, toward the encore, just to get to see him a little closer up. But for the most part, I was just chilling in the back.
Nice, man. Yeah, Shinboy with all the tips, man. Thanks for looking out for the friend, for the homie Koro. All right, so tell me about the show. So you know, confirmed of the vocalists, but I guess overall, how was the set? And did it feel like the entire discography kind of played together? Because, you know, sometimes certain songs from different eras sound different. Did it just feel like a really nice, tight, cohesive package?
It felt like even better than I thought it could have been, and that's weird to say because I love all of their title tracks. I love a lot of their B sides. They have one of the most cohesive discographies I think in K-pop. It's like in terms of like title tracks and B sides, it's like Red Velvet, them, and then as more recently Twice for me. Like in terms of they have it all. And I obviously being the first show of this tour, I had no clue what was happening going in. Like there's no set list. Now there is out there, so if anyone wants to look it up, you can. But I had no clue going in, and I was better for it because every time a B side came on, that was one of my favorites because they just literally it's like they went into my phone, they checked out what are their favorite B sides, they play them back to back to back, and I was just like stunned by how I like was cheering in my seat to myself, like, oh, they played my other favorite one, oh, my other favorite one, my other favorite one, and it was just magical the fact that they were able to bring out so many of my favorite songs in the set list across. Because obviously this is their first time here since COVID. Like they came, I think December 2019, so it's like right before COVID. And since then they went on the run of like Scream, Boca, Odd Eye, like the dystopian stuff, and then obviously now they have Maison, they have Cuz, like all these super big songs, like they're more popular songs I think as of recent. So it was great that they were able to perform all the bangers that everyone wanted to see, like in such force.
What was your favorite song? What's the song that you recommend whoever goes to future shows? You put down your phone and you just experience it.
Ooh. Oh, I might just blow straight into the mic. Sorry, but oh, that's so tough because obviously I have songs that are like my favorite generally, but in terms of songs that really hit and okay, I'll say this, and this is a slight spoiler in case you don't want to know the track list. For they performed Deja Vu, which isn't even my favorite. Like I like that song, but it isn't even my favorite title track from them. But I think that's because that's the last song they released before their last tour and before COVID. Bands were more comfortable with that, like the fan chant for that. Because everything else, everyone's like was just cheering generally for most of them. But that one, like the fan chants were strong, and that song builds in such a way you can feel the energy of the crowd slowly ramp up, ramp up, ramp up until like the cathartic climax of that song where everyone's just like next level excited. So I think everything was great. So it's hard to put that ahead, but that was a unique experience, I think, from the show.
And last question to kind of wrap up the show recap. But what was your favorite side moment where they didn't play music and they just like clowned on stage? Were there any fan service moments that you're just like, oh, this is happening? Because I do remember in the LA show that there was a very infamous video of a specific member turning around. I will just put it that way. So yeah, to keep it PG. Were there any moments like that that really stuck in your memory for whatever reason?
Generally, they were very comfortable with each other. Let's put it that way. But and just I think very excited because it's the first show of the tour, so you get like a certain type of energy that comes with like finally like months and months of preparation. You finally release that in one big go, and so there's great energy. But I think honestly, the best moment of the show, which isn't necessarily super like crazy or anything, but they actually stopped the show multiple times to hand out waters to the crowd. It was really hot yesterday. I was chilling in the back, to be honest, but I general in the city yesterday, and I assume in the pit it was ridiculous, and they could probably feel the heat on the stage. So I was thinking in my head like this could go on forever because everyone should just say, "Oh, I want water too. I want like the members to hand me a water." But I think the fact that they took the time, they like called out to the staff of the both the place and of the venue and like their staff, like, "Oh, can we get more water?" And make sure that like everyone like pass it back, get to the second floor, like everyone make space for each other, don't push. And I just think they were really genuine people. I think in that moment, rather than obviously their performances are going to be over the top amazing, but you get to see like the real authenticity there.
That's incredible, man. Sometimes it happens at music festivals and like bigger shows, but the fact that they did it during a small venue, an indoor venue, where it's like you almost need it more than just an outdoor venue, really shows how much they care about the fans that were there, and appreciate the fact that they could be out again, performing live on tour. Yeah, no, all good. I'm feeling like I was there, even though I wasn't. I'm just like associating these memories now. It's like this transference. It's like, was I there? Did I experience that too? No,
It's that powerful.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, and you retold it well. So I'm just like, I'm all here for it. I'm just like experiencing it with you, man. No, Koro, that was great times. I'm glad that you had a good time. I'm glad that you had like the perfect spot and like you experienced everything you needed to. So good stuff, man. All right. Koro, I think that's it. I think you got anything else? Any other thoughts about anything?
I think we're running long, so I don't want to destroy the audience with the crazy episode. I think we did it. It was great.
I think at this point we're just like, hey, if you're still here, welcome. We're just gonna vibe.
Just vibe with us.
For real. No, we could keep going, but I guess we should wrap it up. So
yeah, we could go all night, really. So.
For real. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Soju Sessions on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and continue the conversation on the Soju Talk K-pop podcast Discord. For Koro, I'm Crispy, and this has been the Soju Sessions.
Pop.